Welcome to the Explainer. We all think we know what quality is, right? But what about when it comes to our health, to life and death decisions? Suddenly that simple word gets, well, really complicated. So today, let's break it down. All right, so let's kick things off with a question that might sound a little strange at first, but trust me, the answer here tells us something really fundamental about what quality actually means, whether you're grabbing a coffee or, checking into a hospital. So, at its most basic level, quality is a pretty simple idea. It's really just how well does something meet our expectations? It's not some hard fact set in stone. It's all about the perceived degree of excellence, from the customer's point of view. And this gets to a really important point. Quality isn't static. It's not a finish line you cross. Think about it. What we thought was amazing yesterday is just standard today, right? It's this constantly moving target. And that means the pursuit of quality is more like a journey, one that's all about continuous improvement. And hey, that brings us right back to Starbucks. Their whole empire is built on one thing: reliability. You just know that a latte you get in London is going to taste exactly the same as one in Los Angeles. And that kind of consistency, that doesn't just happen by accident. Oh no, it is the result of a super meticulously managed system. Okay, so let's take that idea and apply it to healthcare. And bam, suddenly the whole concept of quality gets way, way more complicated. I mean, we're not just talking about coffee anymore. When the stakes are literally life and death, it's not just one person's expectation that matters. You've got multiple perspectives, and they all have a say in what good actually looks like.
And here you can see the three key players in this whole drama. You've got the consumer, the patient, that's us. Then there's the purchaser, the one paying the bills, like an insurance company. And finally, the provider, the doctor or hospital actually delivering the care. The crucial thing to get here is that every single one of these groups defines quality through a completely different lens.
So if you're the patient, quality is incredibly personal. Of course you care about the outcome, right? Did the treatment work? But it's so much more than that. It's about the whole human experience. Was I treated with dignity, with respect? Did I feel safe? For us, those are the things that really, truly matter. But then you have the purchasers. Think insurance companies or government programs. For them, the lens just zooms way out to the big picture. They're asking different questions. Is this care cost effective? Is it even medically necessary? Their central mission is to figure out, are we getting good value for all the money we're spending? And then, of course, there are the providers themselves, the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals. And man, they are caught right in the middle. They're trying to juggle what the patient needs with what the purchaser is demanding. And as if that's not enough, they've got this huge weight on their shoulders: legal liability. And that pressure, that fear of being sued, can lead to something called defensive medicine. So what is that? Well, it's when a doctor orders an extra test, maybe a scan that's not totally necessary, not because it's the best thing for the patient's health, but because it helps create a bulletproof record in case they get sued. And the result? It drives up costs for everybody without actually making anyone healthier. So, okay, you've got all these competing priorities, right? The patient wants one thing, the insurer another, the doctor is stuck in the middle. So how on earth do you create one single standard for quality that everyone can get behind? Well, that was the huge challenge that a really influential group decided to take on. To try and solve this puzzle, the Institute of Medicine, you'll hear them called the IOM, basically brought everyone to the table. And they came up with this really comprehensive definition. They said, look, quality healthcare has to be based on the latest science, it has to get the results we want, and it needs to work for both individual people and for whole populations. And to make that big idea easier to work with, they broke it down into these 6 core pillars. Think of them as a blueprint. First, the foundation. Care has to be safe and effective. That's non-negotiable. But it doesn't stop there. It also has to be patient-centered, respecting what you as an individual need. And then the system itself has to be timely, efficient, and, this is a big one, equitable for everyone. This framework pretty much became the gold standard for how we measure quality in healthcare today. So you might be wondering, where did all these ideas about systematically managing and improving quality come from? The answer might surprise you. They weren't born in a hospital or a doctor's office. Nope, they came from the factory floor. I mean, the whole quality movement has roots that go back for centuries, all the way to medieval guilds that made sure products were up to snuff. And then you had the Industrial Revolution and product inspection. But the modern era, that really kicked off in the 1920s with statistical process control. And then
It just exploded in post-World War II Japan, where a laser focus on quality completely transformed their entire economy. And this whole manufacturing revolution was spearheaded by a few key thinkers, these quality gurus, whose ideas were just so powerful that they eventually made the leap from the factory floor right into the operating room. And in doing so, they completely changed how we think about healthcare. Okay, first up, we've got W. Edwards Deming. He's the guy who went to Japan and basically taught them that quality isn't about finding mistakes at the end of the assembly line. No, he said it's management's job to build a better system from the very beginning. For Deming, quality was all about consistency and dependability. Then you've got Joseph Jurin, who gave us this beautifully simple definition. He said that quality really boils down to a three-part cycle. You have to plan for it, you have to control the process, and then you have to be constantly improving it. Simple, right? But revolutionary. And our third guru is Philip Crosby. He was all about conformance to requirements, basically meeting his specs perfectly, every single time. His big philosophy was doing it right the first time, and he pushed for this incredibly ambitious goal of 0 defects. So these ideas from the world of manufacturing gave healthcare this powerful new blueprint. But actually applying them, that's been a really long and honestly, a pretty difficult journey. So let's take a look at where things stand today. Now, this number you're seeing, it's not about money, it's not about statistics on recovery. No, the story behind this number is, well, it's something much, much more sobering. This is the estimated number of people who die every single year in the United States, not from the disease they went to the hospital for, but from preventable medical errors. It's a truly shocking figure, and it just hammers home why achieving reliability, that same consistency we talked about with Starbucks, is literally a life or death mission in healthcare. And look, fixing these quality problems isn't just about preventing these awful tragedies. It's absolutely fundamental to getting better value out of our healthcare system. The bottom line is, we just can't have affordable, high-value care until our systems become way safer, more reliable, and more effective. So, from the factory floor to the operating room, this whole quest for quality has been this incredible story of learning and adapting. And it really proves that quality isn't some destination you just arrive at and then, you're done. It's a constant, vital, ongoing journey. And that, of course, leaves us with the big question. What's the next great leap forward in this journey going to be?